Once again, we are in Guelph, Ontario, looking at a company called BeSeenBeSafe, headed by Tim Nelson. And what they have developed is a methodology of tracking disease. So this is about food safety, but it's more about disease safety to livestock, but it has huge opportunity around the world in lots of areas. We have satellites put down electronic fences around facilities. Any vehicle coming into that facility will be automatically logged in, all the information associated with it. But most importantly, if there's a problem, if there's a disease, if there's contaminated material, we can trace back to where that truck came from and prevent disease before there's an outbreak. But more importantly, a whole bunch of other uses along the same line.
So we're at the 483 Arkell Road, which is the home of the Poultry Industry Council for Ontario, a research and education organisation. We're on a property which is about 600 acres. There is some poultry research and some swine research and some equine research that goes on here. The reason why we're here is to look at a new biosecurity system called BeSeenBeSafe, which has been implemented on this property, and it is a system that will help mitigate disease spread. And we're going to walk through how that operates on the farm here. One of the elements of good biosecurity is to have a sign on your gate so that it makes visitors aware of the fact that you've got a biosecurity system in place on your farm. And all farms now with their livestock or crops should be implementing good biosecurity to reduce disease spread. So we have a sign here that tells a visitor that this is a biosecure area and that it's protected or monitored by BeSeenBeSafe. The system works by using a smartphone or a GPS device, and you can download an application on your smartphone by using this QR code here, which makes it a very simple download onto any of the current devices, Android, BlackBerry or iPhone. If you don't have the QR code reader on your iPhone, you can quite simply, using your browser on the phone, go to www.BeSeenBeSafe.ca. That's our website, and then you'll find a place where you can download the app. Well, disease costs agriculture millions of dollars. Right now in the USA, there's an outbreak of porcine epidemic diarrhea virus, which is killing piglets, over which there's no control. It is spread by people in trucks or people in vehicles. So it's important that we can contain the spread of disease. What BeSeenBeSafe does, it allows a very smart monitoring system that can, in real time, monitor the movement of disease vectors, that's people and vehicles carrying disease, around the industry. So the people who should be interested in BeSeenBeSafe should be farmers, industry people, so large industry organisations, and government. The reason they should be interested is because if we can get in front of a disease outbreak before it spreads, we've got a much better chance of controlling it. If farmers should be interested because they need to know who comes on and off their properties, and often farmers are not around when people come on and off their properties. What BeSeenBeSafe does is it records the entry and exit of people from the property into a database that the farmer can then access. And that database is then what is used as the basis of mapping the disease spread post the disease outbreak. So BeSeenBeSafe is part of a good biosecurity program. Those people that are involved in biosecurity know that when you enter or exit a farm, you should make sure your vehicle is clean, you should make sure your boots are clean, because disease organisms can spread in manure, on your boots, on your car tires, on the underneath of your car. They can spread in your hair, up your nose. There's lots of ways in which you and I can carry disease, or our vehicles can carry disease. So it's important that we track the movement of the likely disease characters. You, me, the vehicles we drive, the trucks that make our deliveries. Biosecurity is a really important facet of agriculture now. But the other thing is, 80% of the diseases that are now emerging are zoonotic. That means they can move between animals and humans. So if there is a disease outbreak on a farm that may have a human impact, such as the H1N1 that we had not so many years ago, then you need to know if you've been on a property that has an outbreak of that, because you need to be sure that you are safe from that disease. For the user, for the property, it's important to know who comes on and off those properties so that you know who's been there and you also know where they've gone and where they came from. So we don't track you once you leave the property. You're only tracked entering and exiting the property. And what this means is it's exactly the same as the visitor record book. And it records exactly the same things as well. It records what you do for a living, and that gives us an element of risk to you as a visitor. And it records the time that you enter and the time that you exit and the day that you enter and exit. That's it. When you look at a property that is monitored by BeSeenBeSafe, you don't see anything. That's because the geofence that we've set up is set up remotely via satellite. It's a very smart system. We set this up in an office remotely from the farm. There's nothing here. There's no maintenance of anything on the property, so there's no cost of maintenance on the property. There's no power needed on the property. This can be done remotely. It's perfect for remote properties. It's a system that is driven by satellite. Using BeSeenBeSafe is important not just on the farms, it's also on the service industries as well. This program was launched in Southwest Ontario, where we have something like 90 properties on it at the moment who are participating in a commercial pilot. Although this has only started in Southwest Ontario, the intention is that we will take this nationally and then internationally. And again, it's quite simple to export this technology. And who would be interested? Well, large organizations, the very big multinational organizations that have a lot of visitors on their farm, have a lot of farm workers on their farms, a lot of people coming on and off their farms and in and out of their various associated properties at risk. So lots of organizations will be interested in this, and government should be interested in supporting this as well, because this gives them a measure of control over disease spread, which we've never had before. So a geofence is a virtual fence created by satellite on GPS coordinates. A geofence can be as big or as small as we want. A geofence could be just around that barn up there. It could be around this whole property, or in the case of an emergency where there's a designated control zone, say a 3-kilometre boundary around an infected property, it can be 3 kilometres wide, and people entering that along the road will get a message to tell them that they're entering an area where there is a suspected or a disease outbreak. So an example of where we might set up a geofence around a very large boundary, around a 3-kilometre control zone, for example, might be where the Canadian Food Inspection Agency require a fence where they block off roads to stop access. We could do that very quickly using BeSeenBeSafe, where we would set up a virtual boundary around that 3-kilometre zone, and then vehicles who are on the system entering that area would get a message warning them that they're entering a disease area. So we've patented the BeSeenBeSafe program, and what we've patented there is the way in which we are recording the information and the fact that it is recorded specifically for disease mitigation purposes. And also the database and the way in which we retrieve data from that database in time of emergency. At the moment we're operating in Canada, but obviously what we're looking to do is operate across North America, but also then into other countries around the world that have a large agricultural base, particularly livestock agricultural base, who are predominantly export driven. So countries like Australia and New Zealand are prime targets for this particular application. We've also had some discussion with people in the UK and the Netherlands about this already, where biosecurity protocols are extremely strict because they work in very, very intensive situations there, not only within agriculture but also with the human population very close by.